A lot of people in Hypixel Skyblock have tried to make money from the auction house through flipping methods like sniping, bin-to-bin flipping, crafting, and market manipulating. In this video, however, I'll be explaining how you can get started with my favorite flipping method and why it's so much better than the alternatives. What is lowballing? So, lowballing is pretty much when you go to all of the hubs, you tell them you're lowballing, and then they come to your island and they sell all of their items to you for a lower price. The trade-off is pretty much you're getting items that you could flip, and they're getting to sell their items immediately for a little bit less. And then after you've lowballed a bunch of items, you can just come to the auction house and list them for a bunch of profit. So there's a couple important things you'll need to know before you start. The most important thing, in my opinion, is to only buy items that are in the meta. This includes things like dungeon armor, sets, and items used for specific skills like fishing or foraging or mining. Basically anything that a player doing a certain task would buy. Obviously, something like Shadow Assassin armor or a Livid Dagger or a Zombie Knight chestplate are going to be used by a lot of people. You can see hundreds of them in the main hubs just wearing that set with those weapons, so it'll be easy to sell. The markets are fairly stable, they're not able to be manipulated as easily, and they sell quickly. Although something like a Soul Eater 5 Flower of Truth with a recombobulator on it might not sell, as the people usually buying Flower of Truth don't have enough money or don't want Soul Eater 5 on their weapon. So just something to keep in mind is that the modifiers do matter. You're not going to want to buy things like furniture. Someone comes up to you trying to sell this, it has no purpose. This could be manipulated super easily. A guy could put one up for 200 million coins and try and sell you another one for 200 million coins again, which is a total scam. So a good rule of thumb is if you don't know what the item does, do not buy it. So all the items you don't want to buy are furniture, as I said. You don't want to buy enchanted books. You also don't want to buy pet skins for the same reason. And the last things are farming items and minions, because you can't sell them in the auction house, so it'd be very hard to get a return on your money quickly, and you want to do it with the least amount of work possible. So another important thing is you need to kind of know the market prices. This just comes with experience. You don't really need to put in a ton of work memorizing and slaving over just checking every single item in the auction house before you start. Just as you get more experienced, you'll learn the value of things, and it'll help you prevent getting scammed. A useful tool at the beginning is to go to auctions.craftlink.xyz and search the item, because it will show you a graph of the price over time, and you want to make sure that the price you're basing it off of is the average price, not the current price, because for rare items like pet skins, you never know what the price will really be. So on the topic of pets, you can buy pets when lowballing. It just might not be a smart idea as you're starting out, because they're a lot harder to sell and they require more expertise in placing your item correctly on the auction house. Although pets can be very good for money while lowballing because people can't and don't want to sell them. Another important thing to keep in mind when you're lowballing is you want to look as experienced as possible, and wealth makes you look experienced. So what I usually do when I'm lowballing is I'll take off my armor so people can't judge me based on that, and then I will equip my blue whale. This is just a suggestion. If you have it, this is great, but if you don't, it doesn't really matter. I'll equip my blue whale for some extra HP. So I have 1900 base HP, and that shows above my head. So that'll make people think I'm pretty wealthy, and they're gonna trust me more, listen to my deals better, and try and scam me less. In just my experience, this is what I've seen. Another thing is you want to make your island look nice. Like, mine's pretty clean. I wouldn't say it's nice because I can't build. It's not like messy or anything. So I've got all my stuff in an organized way. This is the spawn point. It looks nice. All my portals are organized. My minions are organized. Stuff like that. So you just don't want your island to look like this, because nobody's gonna trust you. People are going to try and scam you. People will try and get lower prices out of you because they think you're less experienced. So the more experienced you look, the better deals you're gonna get. Now let's talk about the actual process behind lowballing. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a message to spam in the hubs, because this is how you're gonna get people. So what I usually do is I type something like this. So I'll put this to make it more standing out. Lowballing in all caps with, and then 47 mil. Visit me, and then I'll just say all the stuff I don't accept, so like minions, no farming items, no skins, no furniture. So yeah, you're just gonna want to spam this in all of the high player lobbies. So if you go to the hub selector, hub 1 through 7 are pretty good. If you check through here, there are more people, but Usually there's less people waiting for lowballers in these lobbies. Hub 1 is going to be your best bet, although you can't say the same message twice. So just go through all of these hubs, really, and then go to the dungeon hubs. And then if that doesn't get you any people, which is very rare, you'll usually get like 3 or 4 people by the time you're through hub 7, you can just change your message and do it again. So once you got people on your island, you just come to your island and trade with the people. I'll show exactly my thought process in a couple clips of me lowballing in a second, but you just want to get a good price for their item, ask for lower than what you think you want for it, and then they might counter offer, and then you'll get the price you want. So I'll talk about this more in a second, but yeah, that's the entire process. Then once you have your items, you just sell them in the auction house for more and make profit. It's pretty simple. Alright, so this is just quick commentary over a couple clips of me lowballing, just to explain what's going on in my thought process when I did this. So right here, it's just me switching my pet, clearing out my inventory, just making myself again look experienced, and just making myself ready for all the items that are inevitably going to come into my inventory. So yeah, then I make my message. Same as before, I make lowballing in all caps. That's important because then it'll stand out among the other messages, and it'll also make it easier to see that I'm actually lowballing. When it's not all in caps, it's kind of hard to see in the flood of Hub 1 chat, so that's why I do that. And then the exclamation points are, again, to make it more noticeable among the other messages. So you can see here I got 2 people almost immediately, and we're going to check what they're doing. So I trade with each person. Okay, so I see the 555. I know that's really expensive, so I don't want to waste all my money on one item, so I decline. I trade this guy because he has 1,000 base HP, so he probably has a decent item. See the 455, that's around 50 mil, but I didn't know that at the time, so I actually checked iAuctions as well as the auction house. So the 455 is actually around 40, 50, 60 mil after checking. So I ask him for a hard lowball because 455s aren't exactly a meta drill. So then I can make more profit and in exchange for waiting longer. So I say really low. Okay, so when I say this, I'm checking auctions.craftlink.xyz for the price just to make sure it's not market manipulated, because there's not very many on the auction house. Okay, so after I checked it, I made sure and it was good. So I trade the guy, about to complete the trade. I make sure the item's correct, that's always important. It's the 455. He cancels, I get a little suspicious. And then since I know I can be firm, he accepts 45, and then he trades me the 355, which is only 17 mil. And then he leaves. So he tried to scam me. That's why it's important to check what item. Also, the NEU trade menu, not enough updates, if anybody doesn't know, tells you the lowest bin value of the items they're trading, so that's also very useful for not getting scammed. Okay, so this guy is trying to sell me a fell sword. I also check auction.craftlink because I don't remember it being 800k. So I also check the auction house, and fell swords are around 900k to a mil. So since it's not that much profit, I do a pretty big lowball. I think I say 500k. Yeah, I say 500k because I'm not going to make that much profit. Might as well. Doesn't really matter if he turns it down. Okay, so he declines, but no big deal. So then I get my message ready again, and I go back to the hubs. So after I get a guy, I come back to my island, I see his low base HP, and I'm prepared to kick him, because it's not really worth your time if they give you, like, a silver fang or something. So, after waiting a second, I realized this guy does not know what lowballing is, so I ended up just closing it. And he's not actually selling me anything, so I just ignore him. Crystal Frag, since this guy is not very rich, I decide to buy it for a slight lowball, just because I kind of feel bad for him. So I bought that for 70k, Not really huge profit, just kind of being nice to the guy. I crafted it into a catalyst and made like 40k, I think. And then I went back to the hub. So since I had already visited the hubs recently, I went to the dungeon hubs, pasted in there. Okay, so I finally got a guy, pasted it a couple more times, and then I went back to my island, traded with him. His armor looks a little suspicious, but yeah, another 555, so I declined it. And then a guy in lapis armor, I'm prepared to not, yeah. So super cleaver, might as well, since it's 800k, so I just offered him 500k and he declined. Okay, so this guy offered me a Necron helmet. This is a good example of what to not buy. So you can see his helmet is 3-star, recom, growth 6. So you can really, like, nobody buys Necron helmets, and especially nobody buys Necron helmets that are 3-star and recombobulated. So I would have bought that, I'm saying in chat, I would have bought that as if it were not starred and not recombobulated, because somebody might buy a clean Necron helmet and somebody might see a Necron helmet with a lot of stuff on it, close to clean price, and flip it, which is the only way I would make money off of that. But since he didn't want a good price for it, I just declined. And then the Lapis guy traded me the snow cannon, and then I just kicked him because it's not worth it. So I see I got a guy, so I go to my island. I actually got 2 people. So I decide to trade with the Shadow Assassin guy first because he looks like he has at least some money. And he gives me a Bone Meringue. Now, Bone Meringues, you see it has Fumings, it's recombobulated, and it has Swarm 5, so I just declined because nobody's going to buy it for the value of its enchantments and things. So with the Black Cat, I know Black Cats are pretty meta for Magic Find, obviously, so I think I can probably list this in the middle of some lower ones and possibly get a flipper to buy it. So I checked the prices of Black Cats, and I noticed that I declined the Strong Dragon guy because all this stuff is not worth it. Okay, so the level 73 Black Cat can be put around, yeah, so my reasoning was that it could be put around 30 mil. So I offered 25 mil because it's not huge and it would still give me a decent flip. So then he offers higher, and then I offer down one more time, and that's usually when the trades end. So we ended up selling for 26, and that was a good 4 mil profit, I'm pretty sure. So there's my first flip of the session. I just put it in my e-chest for now. Trade the other guy. He gives me a Soul Eater 5 Withered Flower of Truth with a recombobulator, so I checked the auction house just to see if it was even remotely close, because nobody buys Soul Eater 5 on a Flower of Truth, because the people buying Flower of Truths don't have the money to buy Soul Eater 5 anymore. So since Flower of Truth kind of is out of the meta, it's not worth it to put Soul Eater, and nobody buys them with Soul Eater. So for this reason, I declined. So I said the lowest one was 29 mil, but Flower of Truths are only worth 3.5, so I don't think anybody would buy an item where most of the value is Soul Eater 5, and the item isn't even meta. And then he started trying to get me to buy it after it, so I just kept to my original decision and ended up kicking him. So then I waited for this guy for a bit. He went AFK, but he came back. So after waiting, he finally responded and had a couple more items for me to trade. So I went to look at them. It was a golden professor head. I didn't notice it first, but it had fuming potato books on it, which made it not worth it because I don't think that would sell. If someone wanted fumings on their head, they would just put them on themselves because it's a lot cheaper than the lowest bin. The lowest bin for 5-star was around 4.5 mil, I think, yep. And the lowest bin for fumings was 12 mil, so I don't think I would have made money on that, so I declined. because the people buying a Golden Professor head would be people just starting Master Mode. So I offered to buy it for 4.45 because I didn't see the fumings, and I probably could have listed it for higher, but he notified me about that, and then I declined after. So then he tried to give me a mosquito bow with a recombobulator with fumings, and I just declined because nobody uses mosquito bows, and it would probably never sell. Then I saw a guy visit, so I went to my island. He's in full glaciite, so I wasn't expecting much. So the elephant, elephants do sell because they're a meta pet for farming. His elephant did not have any candies on it, so I figured it would sell for a decent amount, but I could still lowball it for more. So check the auction house for elephants. So after searching level 9 for level 90, I found that the lowest level 90 was around 22 mil. So I bought this for a bit under that. So I saw the lowest level 90 was around 21 mil, so I bought the pet for 20 mil since the pet was actually around level 98, which would sell for quite a bit more because pet levels are worth more as they get higher. So I bought it for 21 mil, and I ended up selling it for quite a bit more later. And then this guy, he gave me a 5-star adaptive blade. I was already skeptical about it because people buying adaptive armor are usually really early game and they don't want to buy, or they don't even know what 5-star means. So I was originally not going to buy it, but after looking at the auction house, I saw the 5-star ones were not that much more expensive than not starred ones. So originally I was just going to buy it for lowest bin and listed a bit higher, but he declined. So it's not really a big deal because it wasn't much profit in the first place. Okay, and then right before I was about to leave, this guy visited my island with some gold ore armor. So I traded him. He gave me his gold ore chestplate, which is a meta item for tanks. Looks pretty good. So check the auction house for mythic 5-star giant, which was 40 mil. So a thing that you don't want to get caught up on is with longer named items like gold ore's chestplate. If you use the NEU feature that lets you search for stars, sometimes it'll only search for 4 stars because it gets cut off. So you don't want to make the mistake of accidentally buying or comparing your item to a 4-star item because you'll lose a lot of money. So I offered 5 mil under, and I asked to see it again just to make sure. And it was exactly what I thought, just normal hot potatoes, rejuve, giant, recombobulated 5-star. So that is worth 40 mil. And he requested 37. And I was very firm about it, so I said 35. He said nope, so then I offered 36 because he obviously wouldn't take it. But you always want to be firm as much as possible because then you'll be able to get more value out of it. So 36.5 was not that much higher than what I suggested, so I took it. And I put in the 36 mil and the 500k for the chestplate. I made sure the chestplate was the same chestplate to prevent getting scammed, and then I accepted the trade. So that's about a 4 mil flip. The people on my island at this point weren't very rich, except for the Starbolator guy, which was the one who sold me the chestplate before. So I see he has leggings, so I immediately trade him because I know those will make me profit. So the leggings are very, very similar to the chestplate, so I know I can profit off of them. So I search for the leggings with NEU to make sure they're 5-starred, and I see the lowest ones are 19.6, but those ones actually had gemstone slots unlocked. So I quickly bought these in a second because it's actually a flip if they have gemstone slots. I offered 17 mil for the leggings, still a 2 mil flip. So I bought those for 17 mil and I stored them away for later. So then this guy pulls out all of the items. He gives me an entire inventory full of random items. So I see a Juju Shortbow and I see a Spirit Scepter, so I immediately single them out for those because nothing else looks to be of much value. So I check the bow. The bow's 5-star with some pretty basic enchants, hot potatoes, reforge, etc. Nothing special. And I know this will sell for a bit more than the clean bow because it has 5 stars on it, but it's not crazy. So I checked the auction house, and the lowest one was actually very, very similar to the one he showed me. So I checked that one out, 27.9 mil. I lowballed him a couple mil, 5 mil, and he didn't end up accepting it. So after that, I checked out his Spirit Scepter. It was pretty basic as well. Ultimate wise 5, not recombobulated, 5-star, reforged, normal enchant. So I checked that out on the auction house. I saw the lowest 5-star was 19 mil. So I gave him 16.5 because I realized he was kind of stingy. I knew he would, if he would have bartered with me, he would have said 16.5 after I said 16, which was my original price. So I said 16, so then he would raise it to the price I actually wanted. He didn't end up giving either item to me though, so not a big deal. Just a couple mil that I didn't make. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly go over these items, what I just bought from Lowballing, and what I'm gonna sell them for. So I bought these items for a total of 100.5 million coins. You can see the individual prices here. They're kind of laid out in that order in the chest, but I will just take these out and see what we can sell them for. So for the black cat, I will check the legendary black cats. This one's a level 73, so I'm just gonna search for box 7. This is SBE, by the way. Looks like 78, so that's 60. So we could probably get away with selling this about, yeah, probably 30 mil. When you're selling pets, you want to sell the pet like in a place where it would be good to be flipped. So like you can see here, there's like a level 1, there's a level 1, there's a level 60, level 50, 47. If you put a level 70 in here, it's going to look really good to flippers and it'll sell quicker, even though you're still making profit. So I'm going to list this black cat for 30 mil for 2 days. And on that one, I bought that for 26 mil. So that's already easy 4 mil. And then for the elephant, I'm going to search for level 90. The first level 90 is here at 20 mil. I bought this for 21 mil. So I probably should be able to sell it. Since this is, yeah, level 96, I should be able to put it higher. So I could probably put this, I'll put this at 24.9 and I'll put it around here. Since the levels after 90 are really difficult to get. It increases the value by a lot, and then compared to these ones, it's way better, so I've got a feeling that will sell, so yeah. Okay, and then next we've got the chest plate and the leggings for, okay, so 36.5. So the first 5 stars, oh, it's already 40 mil. Okay. So I can just put this for 39.9. It's already profit. 39.9 mil for 2 days. And then the leggings, 19.6. I'll just put it at that, 19.6. And yeah, so the amount of money from that session, we got 19.6. 39.9, 25, and 30. This is just some other stuff, and then the unstable doesn't really count, I guess. So 114.5. That's a 14 mil profit in like 20 minutes if we leave this overnight. I hope this video sheds some light on how lowballing works and how much money it can make you. In the clips I showed, I got fairly unlucky with the amount of people who visited me, and I still made 14 mil from 30 minutes of work. All the items did end up selling overnight, which goes to show how much easier lowballing is than it looks. If you guys want to see more Skyblock guides like this, let me know in the comments, and I hope you have a good one.